welcome to the 19th episode of the MyMuddlings podcast. If you notice that I always seem like I don't know which episode it is. Yes, I think it's the 19th. Today is the 19th of December, actually. So this will be my last podcast for this year. I am your host, Julianne, and I'd like to welcome new and returning viewers to my podcast. What do I want to start with? Today is hot again here. It seems my recording days, which are Mondays, always turn out hot. So I do have the fan on and my birds are in, so warning, you may hear things. I have been rushing around all day. Simon and I don't really like shopping at Christmas or over the holidays, simply because there's just so many people, and I'm an introvert and I have social anxiety, so I have real trouble being around a lot of people, and Simon is very impatient, I guess we could call it, with crowds anyway. So today, that whole lengthy thing was to say that I've been out shopping, and I've actually done 3 weeks worth of grocery shopping for us, so that we don't have to go out pretty much at all if we don't want to over Simon's break. So yes, I had a massive trolley full today. It was so heavy. That was quite interesting, trying to manoeuvre around the shops in something not much more than thongs, trying to push a big heavy trolley. And my car definitely felt it, even though I have a quite large car. I could definitely feel it driving home. So that was interesting. And then I had to run out again because the one shop that I went to didn't have a couple of the things that I wanted, so I had to go out to another one of those shops to pick up some extra stuff. So yes, I've had a very busy morning. I think it took me nearly an hour to put everything away that I purchased. So yes, I'm very tired. I'm very warm. I'm very frazzled. I'm probably going to be extremely scatterbrained, but that's okay. I know you guys will forgive me. Anyway, yes, so today is going to be the last recording day until next year. I will be recording again on the 9th of January to be released on the 10th of January. This will be released on the 20th of December. So I'm just having a little bit of a podcast break. I've decided that I'm not going to be shutting my Etsy store, so I did say something about that last week, but I won't close it. I mean, unless you guys, rush me off my feet, I'm sure I could manage to post a few orders if they come through. So yeah, I will still be Instagramming, so you can follow me at @AnneOfJulie, which is my personal account, or at MyMuddlings, which is my Muddlings account. So yeah, I'm still going to be about the place. Feel free to follow along and talk to me, and whatever you would like to do. I always like to hear from people. So anyway, I think we should get on to some knitting, or crafting really. I don't have any spinning for you this week again. I did pull out some Hilltop Cloud fibre and try and start it. But I just can't. My spinning mojo is just gone. So I guess maybe I might get that back over the holidays. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So yes, I've just got some knitting and some crochet for you today. We can start with my finished objects, and I have two. The first one's pretty simple. You may have actually seen this. This is a project that Bryony Singleton had on her Gradient Yarns Australia website, and it's pretty much just a recipe for an Icord necklace. So I have seen a few people making this, people like Sally Oakley, who's Sally Ravels on Instagram and Ravelry. Who else? I can't think now. I think Red Riding Hood Yarns, shared the post for these as well. So this is just knit out of some of my, the leftovers actually for my, what are they called? The Tenenbaum Socks that I did for the podcast, the Sock Swap. And that's my colourway Bar Humbug on my fingering base. So what I did is I held, I think the recipe is actually for DK yarn, and to hold DK yarn doubled, but I've just held fingering weight yarn doubled, and it's still a fairly decent sort of thickness, I think. I made it quite long. I haven't got it on today because I've got my deer, my stag on my t-shirt. I don't know if that's in the frame, but it's I made it purposely quite long. I think Bryony on her recipe has it quite short, sort of up towards her chest. So, but yeah, I just thought the speckles in the yarn would. I know my camera is having problems focusing because this is my phone camera. If I'm holding the camera, everything seems to focus, but with it on the tripod, I actually struggle to get things that are closer to the camera to focus. So hopefully you can still kind of get the point, because it's the grey base in this yarn with red, yellow and green speckles. So yeah, I think the speckles came out quite nice, and I used about, I think it was 106 yards of yarn for this, and yeah, I'm really happy with it. There's not really much more to say. It's just yarn held doubled knitting I-cord, and then you do like I guess a crochet chain is what this is. So yes, I was very pleased with that. It means I can still wear some knitting when the weather is a little bit hotter. So, so yeah, that's my knitted I-cord necklace. And my other finished object is one that you have seen before, and one that I'm actually really pleased with. Very proud of, actually. And this is my Project Peace Cowl. So I finished that last night. I finished binding off, because I did the I-cord bind off. So because as you knit, you have, you know, you're doing big rounds, you've got your stitches still on the needle. So that was how I did one side, and then the other side had to be picked up and then bound off. So yeah, I finished doing that last night, and I'm really pleased with this. And this was knit out of my fingering. Actually, sorry, the Bah Humbug is my sock base, so that's merino nylon. But this is my fingering base. It hasn't had a block yet, as you can probably see. The I-cord's a little bit wavy on the edges. But this is my Wisteria Arbor colourway. God, that keeps folding. I'll probably do the same one. Oh, there we go, that's a bit better. Yes, this is my Wisteria Arbor colourway on my fingering base. So I'm really pleased with this. And I think it took me 516 yards or something like that. I'll have a link to my project page in the show notes if you wanted to just double check that. So yes, this is a free pattern on Ravelry by Christina Campbell. It's Project Peace Cowl, and yeah, I'm really pleased with it. It's pretty long. I don't want to put it on because it's too hot, but it's pretty long. I should be able to do a double knot, like, you know, twist for the winter months. So yeah, very simple, very, I really enjoyed knitting this. I think the slip stitches really work great with hand-dyed tonal yarn, because it just pulls up the colour from, because there's two rows that slip the same stitch, so technically you're getting on, you know, your third or fourth round, like row of the repeat, you're getting colours that are in the first round. So yeah, I really love how the slip stitches kind of pull the colour up into, you know, other sections of the yarn. So I definitely recommend this one. It was, you know, for being a Project Peace Cowl, I find it quite, it was very peaceful to knit. I really enjoyed it. I was getting a little bit over it a little bit to the end, but it was a very nice knit, and potentially if I had knit it, because it's designed to be knit like one pattern repeat 4-row rounds per day for 21 days, because there's 21 repeats in here. If I'd actually, what do you call it? I can't find my words today. Had actually rationed it, I suppose you could probably say, in doing just the 4 rounds per day, I probably wouldn't have got sick of it by the end. It could also be because I got both of my cars serviced last week, which I think I mentioned, and on Tuesday I actually waited for the car. The Monday I came home and we picked it up later, but I waited for the car on the Tuesday, and I spent most of the time sitting in our shopping centre down there knitting on this. So and I was pretty, I was getting very impatient waiting for my car. They were a little bit late from their estimated time of being finished, so I was a little bit anyway. But that's my project piece cow. I'm really happy with this. I love the way my yarn turned out, and I still have quite a bit. I think I only used 31 grams for my second ball, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do this. I'm maybe going to do a Mary Margaret tam, which I saw on the Yarngasm podcast, or it could have been Kristen's vlogs that she's doing for Vlogmas. So I'm thinking maybe, because it's, you know, it's fairly tonal, I think it will work with lace. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I'm just gonna let it sit until I decide what I want to do with it. So they're my finished objects. I have been working on only a couple of other things. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen last week that I'm still suffering, but my mental state hasn't been great the last few weeks. I've been a bit down, and I've been finding crocheting on this blanket really comforting. It's just so mindless, and the, like, you know, the little mental bonuses of using up yarn that's been sitting around for ages by putting it into the blanket is really, you know, like I said, it's a mental bonus, and it just gives you that little bit of like, oh, you know, yay, I've done something, I've accomplished something. And sometimes when you're in that dark state, you kind of feel like you can't accomplish anything. I've just realised my glasses are still on. I hope they're not shining, not reflecting too much for you. I'm sorry. So yeah, this is what I've been working on. So I think last week I was still working on this dark and teal band. I did say that was fibro fibers, which I was a little bit unsure as to whether I wanted to include in this blanket, but I'm happy with it. And the teal and the fibro fibers has actually worked really well with this Tanis Fibre Art yarn here, which is in the mallard colorway, and I just love this color, like this mallard colorway. I just think it's great. It almost glows, like it's really gorgeous. So yeah, I've pretty much done that one. This is Malabrigo in African Violet, I think it is, and then I've got some Stranded in Oz in Puny Human, and then this is just some generic, I think it's 4 Seasons merino 4-ply from Spotlight. So it's just a grey is where I'm up to, and I'm thinking next I will go this blue, which is from Spinning Jenny Fibres. I don't think she actually dyes anymore, but I got this as part of a club. So I'm thinking that might go after the grey, because there's greys in this. So I haven't decided yet. I've still got a fair amount of the grey left to go. So yes, that's my crochet blanket. As I said, I'm going to try and make a double bed size, so I'm going to be working on this for a long time. So you'll definitely see it again. And all of my yarns that I'm using this, I'm actually including all of them in my Ravelry project page. So if you are interested in any of them, definitely pop over there. And I mean, I have been adding them in order that I've been including them in the blanket, but I don't know whether Ravelry keeps them in that order. But you can always, if you like any of these and you want to know what they are, I'm happy to tell you. So that's my crochet blanket. Other than that, I've been working on my December socks, and I finished the heel yesterday. So it's the Fish Lips Kiss heel. These are just my regular vanilla sock. I think I did about a 7-inch cuff, and I'm now onto my foot. So yes, these are my good nighttime TV knitting, because I don't really need to look at it. I can just pick it up and I can just knit along, and you know. Look. I like tripping people out on the bus just by doing this. And you look around the bus and you're like, yes, I'm paying attention to everything, yet I'm still knitting. I'm getting delirious, I think. I think I've got some heat stroke. I'm sorry. Yes, so this is some Kathy's Fibres, and this is BFL nylon sock. So just a 4-ply, and it's the sea anemone colourway, I believe. So there's bits of cream, lighter greens, greys, and that real sort of tealy, turquoisey green. So yeah, these are swimming along. I still have another whole sock to do. I was hoping to have these finished by Friday so that I can cast on, you can probably see up there, I can cast on my pomme de pin for my Christmas Eve cast on, but we'll see how we go. Because I don't really want to work on these too much because I have to work on the next thing that I'm going to tell you about. And the next thing is, this is Baby Branches by Alana Dacos, and I started this ages ago for my niece, my 2.5-year-old niece, and I thought I would like to give her this for Christmas. So I've done the back, which has the tree. I don't know how well you'll be able to see that because the yarn turned out far more variegated than I wanted, because I actually hand dyed this yarn. It was supposed to be a bluey grey, but yeah, I kind of failed. I was a very new dyer at that time, so I was still experimenting. So yes, there's the tree on the back, and I've done the hood and the 2 front pieces, and now I am at a mid-row. That is so rare for me. I very rarely leave things mid-row. I'm doing the sleeves 2 at a time, so hopefully these will be ready for me to give to her on Christmas Day, because that's the only present that I actually have for her. So yes, that's how far I am. I'm on my second lot of increases for the start of the sleeve. So yes, send fast knitting vibes to me, please, because it needs to be done. So that's why I can't really work too much on my socks, although I can work on the socks while I'm working on my cardigan, I think, because I do like having a big project and a little project on at the same time. So long as I get those socks done by the end of the year, I will still be in the running for the year-long prize for the Box of Socks Cal and the Just One More 12 and 16. So yeah, there's not really much to tell about this. I find it very straightforward. I knit a larger one, you know, like a full-size adult one for myself, and it's one of my favourite jumpers to wear, because it's nice and long, comes down below my bum, and I can put the hood up if I feel like it, if I'm a bit cold. So yeah, I'm very familiar with this pattern. It's just a smaller miniature version of it. So it's seamed, 3 needle bind off at the shoulders, and then yeah, it's kind of an A-line shape. It's got this cute little like decreases here to make a bit of a little ruffle, and there's similar on the hood that you can see there. So yes, hopefully this will be done. You won't be able to see it on the podcast if, you know, all going well and I get it done for my niece, because she'll have it on Christmas Day. But I will be sure to take photos of the finished item and you'll be able to see it. So yeah, I just need to knit those sleeves and seam it together and hopefully give it a bath by Sunday. So I don't know, I've got lots to do this week, hopefully. So that's pretty much all I've been working on. I don't think there is anything else really for me to tell you. I haven't done a shop update. My advent calendar sales are still going, so I have been a little bit slack because I'm just tired and have a lot of other things to think about. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Can't think of anything else to say. Oh, the stash down along for next year, that is a go ahead. Even though I'm not podcasting, that will start on the 1st of January, so which I think is a Sunday. So pretty much I've had the advice and I very much agree with it. I think it was M's Little Nest. It was Emma. It was definitely Emma, but I think her Ravelry name is M's Little Nest. I'll correct myself in the down bar if I'm wrong. She suggested to not have too many strict or confusing rules, because sometimes that makes it hard for people and they just don't bother participating because it's too hard for them to figure out all the rules. And to be honest, I very much agree with that, because although I've done the Just One More 12 in 15 Cal, I found the rules were very restrictive, like with a minimum of 50 grams of yarn, even though I've knit, you know, a full adult size pair of ankle socks. I spoke about this on the podcast. I knit a full size pair of adult ankle socks, but because they weren't 50 grams, therefore I had to knit a whole nother pair. And that's just, like, I think that's just a bit crazy. I don't really want to be mega strict on it, so pretty much I'm going to have just a couple of rules. And that is going to be, because it's a stash down, any yarn that has been in your stash prior to the 1st of January 2017 is eligible. I think the easiest thing to do is to have, I'm not going to worry about points and things like that. We will just count yardage. So however many yards you use, is you add it to your total. I'm going to open up, I guess, a roster thread in the Ravelry group where you can pick, you can jump on there, you can claim your post, and that's the one post, that'll be the FO thread, that you will update through the year. So yeah, I think claim a spot, keep a running total. It's going to kind of be a bit of an honor sister. I'm not going to go through and count up everybody's yardage. I might do a cursory random check just to make sure everybody's doing the right thing. And yeah, I think it's just going to be, we'll just count our yardage. I think through the year I might have other kind of sort of challenges, like maybe if we knit a certain thing in that month, you get bonus yardage for it. Bonus yardage perhaps for using an entire skein and having it actually out of your stash, you know, all used up. So yeah, I'm gonna put my thinking cap on and really nail down my rules. And obviously you do need to be a member of the MyMuddlings podcast group to be eligible for prizes in that. I have had Quilter Caroline, who is Clothesline Designs. Caroline has generously offered for a couple of patterns to be given as prizes, and Tamara from Tam's Crafty Knits has also donated a bag or two, I'm not 100% sure yet, so that we're going to have prizes through the year. I will be providing prizes, so yeah, if you want to be eligible for those prizes, and we're going to have two end of year prize packs as well. If you want to be eligible for prizes, then you need to be a member of the group. And yes, so, and I've been thinking as well, for people who are spinners, if you have copious fibre stash, that I think I will be including spinning, but those skeins will not then be counted. So if you spin a skein, you can count that yardage for however much you spun in that skein, but you can't then knit that skein and get more yardage because it's changed form, if that makes sense. You know, like the fibre is old stash, it gets made into yarn, which is then new stash. So I won't be counting projects made from that spun yarn, but I will accept the spun yarn yardage as part of your total. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all the rules. It's just going to be really simple. So I think that's it. I don't think I want to babble anymore. I've been babbling a lot. I was going to have a bit of a chat about things that I've got planned and things. We had a really good weekend last weekend. Well, I felt like we did. And I was going to talk about that, but I'm just so all over the place and I can't get my thoughts. I think I need some water. I can't get my thoughts in order. I noticed that I have been a bit slack on my Vlogmas posts as well. I'm been so busy and it's not been fibery stuff that I've been working on. It's been, you know, house stuff and groceries and really boring stuff that I don't really want to, you know, inflict on you guys. So if I start doing some fibery stuff, I will be sure to take a video and put up a vlog, but at this point in time I don't know if there'll be any more of those. It's a lot of hard work as well. But anyway, I think I'm going to leave it there because I'm really just babbling now. So in case I don't get to say so, I want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas or Happy Holidays if you don't celebrate Christmas. Happy Hanukkah if you celebrate Hanukkah. But yeah, whatever you're doing, I hope you have a nice rest and get to spend some time with your family and friends and eat lots of nice food. And yeah, I will see you all in the new year. Happy New Year to everybody. Okay, thank you for watching, and sorry for this all over the place podcast. Much love to you all. I will catch you next year.